Will Tennessee be a less sexy brand for the college football playoff next year? And this is Hot or Cold. It is brought to you by City Heating and Air, 50 years in East Tennessee. Integrity matters, cityheatandair.com. The first question we have to ask, and we'll get to this, does the college football playoff weigh factors other than most deserving? Now, we're going to start with that, but first I just want to say this on a broad sense. A few years ago, Josh Heupel had the sexiest brand in college football, and I felt Tennessee would have gotten every benefit of the doubt, particularly after the 2022 season. 2 years later, with an underwhelming offense last year, even though they made the playoffs, they had the best running back in the nation. Did Tennessee lose a bit of its luster? And will that work against Tennessee? Hot or Cold, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Let's get started. So, first question, hot or cold? Tennessee has a less exciting style of play than they had in 2022. Josh Heupel went a lot more 12 personnel last year. That's the reputation. Nico Iamaleava did not put up the insane numbers people thought. Will that hurt Tennessee in the final week of the regular season when the final college football playoff rankings come out? And if Tennessee's like in a debate with another school for maybe to be the final team in as a bubble team, or maybe try to get home field advantage, will the college football playoff, will the Vols' reputation now as playing a less exciting brand hurt them with the college football playoff? I'm going to say yes. Now, things could change if Tennessee does play an exciting brand this year, the whole year, and the reputation picks up. But I think right now, in the committee's mind, I think that Tennessee does play a less exciting brand than they thought, and that could hurt them when they're trying to see the teams. I forgot who to put in. They want to put in who they think is the most exciting because it is a TV show, as Dave always says. So if things are really close and they have to nitpick, I think they might lean towards a more exciting brand. Like, say it's Tennessee versus Ole Miss. Right now, Ole Miss has a more exciting offense than Tennessee's. Lane Kiffin has a more exciting offense than Josh Heupel. Would they lean Ole Miss? Maybe. It's possible. Now, next one. Tennessee, in their most recent playoff outing, got blown out by Ohio State in the first round, got humiliated, 42-17. Now, Ohio State humiliated everybody en route to a national title, and they happened to be playing Tennessee at home, unlike the other ones. Question is, the unfortunate thing for Tennessee is that Tennessee lost early. And so Tennessee didn't have any chance to make any sort of statement with the win before they got blown out by Ohio State. And so that's the most recent reputation on everybody's mind. Will that work against them when it comes to the College Football Playoff Committee? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that it won't hurt them when it comes to the reputation of the College Football Playoff Committee. I think that they will rationally see that Ohio State blew out everybody last year, and Ohio State winning the national title has changed things a little bit. Now, Tennessee's fan base in Columbus, the way they took over Columbus with a 42% clip of the stadium, will that help Tennessee in the college football playoff rankings? Yes, this is one that'll help them a lot. And the reason it's going to help them, and I'm hot on less exciting will hurt them. I'm cold on the idea that blowout loss will hurt them. But I'm hot on the idea that their fan base in Columbus will help them next year with the college football playoff. It's going to help them with trying to pick between, if it's between an 8 and 9 seed for Tennessee and it's really close, remember the 8 seed you get to host, they're going to give Tennessee the 8 seed. And they're going to play to give them the home game because they saw what their fans did last year, and they know that they would hope that would drive up ticket prices for the home game. They have to think a little bit politicking. If they are politicking, that's going to come into play. So I'm very hot on this. Will Tennessee going to war with the NCAA hurt the Vols? Again, I want to say yes. I'm hot on that. And here's why I'm hot on that. Just hear me out. There's still a disproportionate amount of non-SEC and Big Ten commissioners on the College Football Playoff Committee, or Big Ten affiliated people, or SEC affiliated people. Tennessee's declaring open war on the NCAA basically set in motion the ability for the Big Ten and the SEC to consolidate more power and just throw NCAA rules to the side. And the less powerful the NCAA gets, the more pushed out in relevance the other conferences get. And many of those commissioners are going to be unhappy about that. And I do think a couple of them could subconsciously punish Tennessee. I know that's crazy, but I could see it happen. So less exciting style of play. You know what? I'm going to switch. Less exciting style of play. I'm cold on. I'm actually going back to cold because it's going to happen at the end of the year. It's not like Tennessee's not going to play a lot of national TV games this year. If their exciting style of play this year returns, I'm changing my views in real time with you guys. If their exciting style of play returns to 2022, I'm hot on them getting in. But I'm hot on I'm cold on that working against them. But I'm hot in general on their style of play being a factor. How about that? I'm hot on Tennessee's style of play being a factor. I'm hot on their blowout loss to Ohio State being a factor, but I'm also hot on the fans in Columbus. I'm cold on their blowout loss to Ohio State being a factor. I'm hot on the fans in Columbus being a factor, and I'm hot on them going to war with the NCAA being a factor. But the final question, and again, hot or cold, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Does the college football playoff weigh any of these factors? Is there any sort of politicking that goes on? I'll give you my answer in 30 seconds. First, a quick message from City Heating and Air.
Hi, Mike Davis here with City Heating and Air, reminding you to always dare to compare. Our team provides quality local heating and air service, installation, and maintenance across East Tennessee. We use only the best equipment like American Standard heating and air conditioning for your residential, new construction, or commercial needs. Honesty, dependability, and customer satisfaction have been the cornerstones of our business since 1961. City Heat and Air.
Dare to compare.
So, welcome back to the program, and I'm asking this as a poll question. The question is, does the CFP committee weigh external factors beyond just best team, like best draw, excitement, etc.? You guys can vote, say yes or no. Based on last year, truth be told, no. But I think they will. I'm hot on them doing it this year because last year the TV show wasn't good. It wasn't good. And I think that because the TV show wasn't good, I think that they're going to change this year and they're going to weigh those factors a little bit more, honestly. Maybe very unpopular to think, but I got to be honest. I don't see how they don't do it. It was not a good look the way things went last year with so many teams getting blown out in the first couple of rounds and just Ohio State coasting through everybody. They're going to weigh some politicking this year. They might give Alabama or South Carolina the nod over SMU going forward. They might even, one of the things they might do is they might even have regretted giving Ohio State the home field advantage over Tennessee, even though I said from the time Ohio State deserved it. Not only was Tennessee filling up Columbus a bad look for Ohio State blowing Tennessee out was a bad look for the CFP. And maybe they felt because Tennessee's the worst team, maybe they might feel this time because Tennessee's the worst team, and it's a close call over who deserves a home field advantage. Let's give Tennessee the home field advantage so that we can make the game a little bit closer. You don't think that's going to come into play? I think a lot of this stuff is going to end up being in play this year because of how things worked out last year. Remember, one of the biggest reasons Florida State was left out of the college football playoff despite going undefeated in 2023, and I felt they should have been left out anyway, even if Jordan Travis had stayed healthy. But Jordan Travis getting hurt is what pushed them out and put Alabama in. Florida State got pushed out because in 2022, TCU made it to the national title game, and there was an utter humiliation at the hands of Georgia. Georgia won, was it 65-7. They didn't want a repeat of that, and they felt it would happen without Jordan Travis. That's why Florida State got pushed out. I know it's crazy to think about, but that's why Florida State got pushed out. They didn't look good against Louisville. It wasn't the same as Ohio State with Cardale Jones in 2014, where Ohio State went to the Big Ten title. Cardale Jones stepped in, and they beat Wisconsin 59-0, and they just dominated. Ohio State looked better with Cardale Jones. Florida State looked worse in their ACC title win without Jordan Travis. It cost them, and that's how they got left out of the college football playoff because the committee did not want, because of what happened with Georgia and TCU the year before. Don't think they're not going to do the same thing this time around, guys. They take that stuff into consideration because they tried not to last year. I don't think there was much politicking going on last year, and I think that was a mistake. Because at the end of the day, this is a TV show, and if you're going to create the gimmick, then you got to make the gimmick entertaining. SMU over Alabama. I said SMU belonged over Alabama based on body of work, but no person could reasonably see SMU would have put up a better fight in the first round than Alabama. I don't think Indiana belongs. They didn't beat anybody. I think the one loss being to Ohio State, they should have been knocked out. They had no quality wins to hang their hat on at all. They should not have been in. A 3-loss Alabama belonged over a 1-loss Indiana last year. That showed. So I think that, look, I think the committee is going to take some of that stuff into account this year. And given the situations surrounding Tennessee, that could hurt Tennessee. So just watch out for that. I'm just warning you guys now. I know it's unpopular to think about, but it's kind of the way things are going.